teachings. First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Zeng Kong, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Dutton Dorji. Homage to the main deity of Homa today, to the Heavenly King of the North, the Yellow Jambala, Vaishravana. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Sumo, Tanzan Kato, Dutton City. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples here and over the internet. Good afternoon, how do you do? Aisteru Sarange. Hola amigo. Mucho. Sugoi. Ichiban. Kimochi. Jumi. Yapi. Konnichiwa. Good afternoon. Now I would like to let everyone know for next Sunday, September 27th, at Sunday 3 p.m. The main deity for Homa is Mahapratisara Bodhisattva. As you all know, which is wish fulfilling Bodhisattva, so you can ask for anything and it would be fulfilled. So everybody can ask and you will be responded. The heart mantra, Om Maha Purati Salo Soha. Om Maha Purati Salo Soha. That's his mantra. And the mudra, the right palm is facing down and the left palm is facing up and together like this scripture. Like the booklet of the sutra. Two hands together, it's like this. That's the mudra. palms, palm to palm. In the past, I chanted Om Mahaprata Salo Soha, but that's not the case. It's Pulati. Prada is a brand name bags. Prada. But this is Pulati Salo Soha. Mahapratisara Bodhisattva. This Bodhisattva is very famous. Someone specializes in chanting Mahapratisara's mantra because human life is about fulfilling your desire. Most people in human life have desires. It's extremely difficult to train until you have no desire. But to fulfill wishes, this deity is one bodhisattva that fulfill wishes the most. However, if you have practice until you reach the realm of no desire, then you don't have to become primary supplicants. And at the beginning of the Dharma teaching, I would like to tell a joke. The neighbor, the Uncle Chen, went to see the doctor, and this uncle told the doctor, I have problems with my digestive system. And the doctor asked, do you have regular bowel movement? And this uncle replied, yes, very regular. Every morning at 8, I would defecate. And the doctor asked, so since it's so regular, what kind of problem do you have? And the uncle said, the problem is because I wake up at 9 in the morning. Get up at 9. So Grandmaster's life schedule is very strict, very disciplined and smooth. I'm telling you, in the future, when you reach 80 years old or 90 years old, if you can live without wearing pads or diapers for elderly. Like I said last night, that health is extremely important. That's second most important. And the most important thing you have to remember is spiritual cultivation, because it would transcend life and death and be liberated. And second most important is the health, physical health. Because health would be the best or the true wealth. And third most important is money. Only third. So we pray for the Mahapratisara Homa next Sunday. You can pray to have attainments from your spiritual cultivations, to have good health, and money keep coming in. Lots of money. If you have all these three, then you have everything. Now we will do the question and answer. Singapore Lianhua Guanghua. Thank you, Grandmaster. When in the middle of a practice, I felt stomachache and went to the bathroom. What should I do afterwards? Should I continue or start from the beginning? What should I practice in order to resist the temptation of illicit seduction? Thank you. So let me tell you, if you're in the middle of a practice and all of a sudden you have stomachache and had to go to the bathroom, when you return, you have to wash your hands first until they're clean. Should I restart from the beginning? No need. You can just continue and complete the practice. It's very simple matter. Just continue it. All of a sudden, someone knocks at the door. It's the same. So it matched with the joke about going to the bathroom. And the first question is also about going to the bathroom. Oh, that's a response. A match. What a coincidence. The question is about going to the bathroom and the joke was also about going to the bathroom. So Jambala is telling us that it's lots of golds covering the ground. Really, I saw the treasure mouse spitting bars of gold. And they were all falling until it's as high as the houses. So Jambala really bestow lots of treasures. You know, the thing that we pull, we call it gold. See, we pull some pulls about gold, and things that fell down from the sky were also gold. The joke is also about the gold. So really, that's the response. What should I practice in order to resist the temptation of illicit seduction? Someone said the visualization of white bones. The Venerable Shenren. But do you practice the white bone visualization? In the past, I did. To counter illicit seduction. But not now. So now you have all the improper lasciviousness. So this is extremely difficult. In Buddhism, we do have the visualization of white bones. But it's very difficult. So for Mahayana Buddhism, about obscenities, they completely taboo. In Tantrayana, we can practice consort practice, but not in Mahayana. But don't misunderstand that in Tantrayana you can do the consort practice. Because the question is, are you the able one? What does this able one mean? When you perform the consort practice, do you consider it as a Dharma practice, as spiritual cultivation? Do you make use of your chi channels and light drops and follow the procedure? Can you do the Dharma practice from beginning to end during the consort practice without no desirous or obscene thought whatsoever? If you are able to do so, to do the practice from beginning to end with visualization, mantra chanting, sutra chanting, and entering samadhi, and also mudra. And you comprehend empty nature, the four emptiness and four bliss. And you are the non-leaking able one. Other than that, you cannot find such a person in tens of thousands of people. If you perform the consort practice and you have indecency or obscenity, then you would fall into Vajra hell and never able to get out of it. So Tantrayana is also very strict and severe. Don't think that in Tantrayana then you are free to perform the consort practice. That's wrong. So it's very crucial to resist the temptation of illicit obscenity or indecency. And my guru taught me that you should treat elderly women as your mother. And women of similar age as sisters. And women of younger age as your granddaughter. So that's also a way to counterbalance. So those older than you should be regarded as your mother. Then you would not have a sexual thought about it. If those of the similar age treat as your younger sister or sister, and the younger ones, you regard them as your daughter or granddaughter. And that's how you can overcome it. So this Lianhua Guanghua sounded like a man's name. So you should this kind of visualization. Regard her as your own younger sister. Then you will not have any of this obscene thought. So if you regard her as your granddaughter or daughter or mother, then you would not give rise to desirous thought. And as for Dharma practice, the Venerable Shenren said, the visualization of white bones. Sometimes to resist this temptation is truly difficult. But when you practice to become the able one, don't misunderstand that consort practice is not a counterbalance. So if you already have the ability, you already practice to have attainment, then you would be able to completely resist the temptation, even in doing the consort practice. And your desire would decrease over time, never increase. Golden Mother once asked me, what is the immovable one? And my reply was daily lives in moving, sitting, standing, and lying down. Because those are all moving, but why is it immovable? Because you are the able one in performing all those actions in standing, walking, sitting, or lying down. So the visualization of the white bones or white skeleton. There are two methods. One is the visualization of the white skeleton, and the other one is the visualization of impurities. That's also to resist the temptation of illicit indecency or seduction. Because, thanks for your question, because like in America, it's very liberal. At 18, you're free to think or act. There are many people that cannot control themselves. So it's very difficult to control. Grandmaster does not have cell phones. And I don't use iPad. Like if you have or if you have cell phones or internet, there are many pornographies. So it's very difficult to resist the temptation. So in our practice, we can use the visualization of white skeletons or impurities to restrain from these obscenities. And conceptually, you can regard anyone older as your mother, of the same age as your sisters, and the younger one as your daughter or granddaughter. That's what you should be mindful of. The second question from Brunei, Lianhua Han Hong. Amitabha, Grandmaster and Simo. When I practice for preliminary Vajrasattva practice, in the main part of the practice, during the visualization of the Bodhisattva empowering me with the white light, I would feel my tip of the head becoming numb, as if being electrified. Is this normal? Please advise. That's normal. Because when qi circulates inside the body, there are 4 phenomena that would happen. When qi moves inside the body, there are 4 kinds of phenomena. I will not say which ones, which they are, but feeling the tip of the head becoming numb as if electrified, that's the sign of qi moving. So look at Grandmaster every time performing the visualization of the deity, like for yellow Jambala. Every time I pull him down, then there would be qi filling the whole head. And sometimes the face will change forms. I becomes like a transformer. That's the sign of the qi moving. Like when you have qi in your body, with a thought, even the teeth can move. How? Did you hear the sound? That's the movement of the qi, or vital energy. I didn't intentionally move or voluntarily move the teeth. But please be careful if you're old. If you're elderly and you try to copy Grandmaster, then maybe your teeth will fall off. So when the teeth move, And because it's quite strong, and if the teeth are not strongly implanted, then maybe they would fall off. Human life starts at 70s. Start what? Start falling. Teeth start to fall. But Grandmaster take care of his teeth every day. So my teeth are still very firmly implanted. That's why when the chi moves, the teeth makes the sound. Tapping. And not only that, for the whole body, including the pores, the skin pores, will open. The skin pores will open too. When the Buddhas or Bodhisattvas are in union with you and entering into your body, all of your skin pores would open and would emit light. That's your aura. We don't say it's thousand eyes, thousand arms, but it's eyes all over the body. What does that mean? That means that your skin pores are all open and there's an eye in each of the pores, and you would be able to emit light or become luminous. So you practice until you become like that. Look at the teeth. So if you are the able one, you are definitely non-leaking. And the chi concentrate in that area, and it can retract and hold and lift up and generate the four joys or four blisses that transform to become four emptiness. And this practice only exists in Tantrayana. And in Mahayana, we don't have anything such as the four blisses and four emptiness. So the apex, feeling numb, like electrified, that's normal. So even when the teeth are like fighting, like tapping very fast, that's normal too, because the chi is on the teeth. Any one of you that can have their teeth move? That the chi is on the teeth and the teeth moves? No? Anyone? Very few people are able to do that. But if you tap your teeth like this 36 times a day, of course, everybody can. But trembling like this, are you able to? Trembling like that. Third question. Homage to Grandmaster. Can I combine the practices of Root Guru Yoga and White Lotus King? Thank you, Grandmaster Amitabha. The White Lotus King mantra chanting Dharma practice, you need an empowerment. For the mantra chanting only, you can get the empowerment remotely, but the deity yoga, you need an empowerment. And you can combine the Root Guru Yoga and the White Lotus King Dharma practice. Because Grandmaster is a white Padma Kumara, and White Lotus King is also white Padma Kumara. So it's the same system. So you can combine them. If it's not the same line or the same system, then you should not combine them. And that's the union of three deities. So you can practice Padma Kumara, White Lotus King, and Vajrasattva. These three can be combined. You can also combine three deities together. Vajrasattva, deity yoga, White Lotus King, deity yoga, and Padma Kumara, deity yoga. Because Padma Kumara what is this called? I've said it before. It's the Vajradhara, the Vajra holder. The first Vajradhara is Adharma Buddha. And the five Buddhas, the five Dhyani Buddhas are the five Vajradharas. And Vajrasattva is the seventh Vajradhara. And the eighth Vajradhara is the lineage root guru. And you all are the ninth Vajradhara. So you can combine Vajrasattva, Root Guru Yoga, and White Lotus King Deity Yoga. But you need to be careful. Some you cannot combine. Next question from Malaysia. Nianhua Jensen. Your disciple normally chants hiking Avalokitesvara Sutra and also practice the sadhana and the brightly lit sitting meditation. I would like to ask the question about the mindfulness method of this brightly lit sitting meditation. In quote, mindfulness of the divine heart inside the sun and moon, end quote. After practicing it for a period of time, every time I meditate or any time I try to concentrate, I would feel my divine eye congeal. Should I maintain this sensation at all times? Is that it? Please advise. So, just think of the divine heart inside the sun and the moon, and that's here at the brow point. And if you feel it congeal, that's like what I just said. It's about the qi. As long as you continue to maintain the feeling of that congeal qi, then that would be called Sanhua Jiding. Wuqi Caoyan. Sanhua Jiding, Wuqi Caoyan. As long as the qi congeal at the brow point, at the divine eye, and your mind is concentrating on the qi at that divine eye, then all the qi inside the body would continue to return to that place. So this is like the king of a country seated here, and all the ministers and the subjects and the people all respect and pay respect to the king. So the 5 qi facing the origin, which is right here, the divine eye point. So the king or the emperor is seated here, and all of his ministers and subjects below him all paying respect to the emperor. You practice for a long time, and eventually your divine eye will open and emit light. So mindfulness of the divine heart inside the sun and moon. Why this statement about sun and moon? You should know what the sun and the moon symbolize. I've said it many times. It's about your eyes, the left eye and the right eye. Because when you are performing the Sakya 6 postures, one of them is the sun and the moon looking to the sky, which means both eyes looking up. Both eyes looking up. And the center of the sun and the moon, and that's the brow chakra. Or it's also called the divine eye or divine heart. So you should just maintain this congeal sensation at all times. And then you make all the qi inside your body, including the upper qi, lower qi, peripheral qi, the fire accompanying qi, all of them, to face and return to the origin. To the eye. So the brow point would open first, and then you would be able to see light. From Boston, USA, 莲花明期. So Boston, USA. In Chinese is Boston. I say Boston, but someone corrected me to be Boston. Boston. So it's not Boston, but it's Boston. Amitabha, I sincerely pay homage to Grandmaster Living Buddha Liansheng. How do you do, Grandmaster and Sumo? And I have 3 questions. Not 1, 3. What is the proper way to dedicate merits? After practicing, I would dedicate the merits first to Grandmaster and Sumo, and then to the earth god of my homestead, house spirits, the money gods of the 5 directions, kitchen god, ancestors, attached spirits, all my family, and all sentient beings. I pray that all of us will cultivate diligently, purge our karma, that His Holiness will guide us to the Maha Twin Lotus Ponds. Is this correct? To dedicate merits like that? Wow. So dedicate the merit to Grandmaster, the Sumo, to the Earth God of her home and house spirits, money gods of the 5 directions, kitchen god, ancestors, attached spirits, all my family, and all sentient beings. I pray that all of us will cultivate diligently, purge our karma, and His Holiness guide us to the Maha Twin Lotus Ponds. My question is this correct to dedicate the merit like this? Okay, now I'd like to ask the Venerable Lian Zi. Is this the correct way to dedicate merits? Too much. How about Danzhen? What do you think? Too much. Same answer. Anybody else want to provide the answer? How about Juru? It's too much. I sure do. Then she is in the opposing opinion. He says okay. Because in our merit dedication verse, may all who uphold the Buddha ascend to the realm of utmost bliss, repaying fourfold generosities from above, aiding those in the 3 realms below. Upon seeing the Buddha, may we transcend life and death like the Buddha, may we liberate all. So may we repay the generosities from the 4 above and then deliver the 3 below. So that's everybody. So that's why what the Venerable Lian Xi said is also correct. So you don't have to specify specifically like that. You can just say, may all who perform the practice be ascend to the realm of utmost bliss, repaying fourfold generosities from above and aiding those in the 3 realms below. That includes everybody. That's good too. So, may all who perform the Dharma practice, so not just you, so all of those who practice in all true Buddha school disciples who practice be reborn in the realm of utmost bliss. Whenever we have spiritual union, then we will be able to rise to the Pure Land. And that's the least prayer we can make. And repaying fourfold generosities from above and aiding those in the 3 realms below. That includes everything and everybody. Or during our Dharma practice, you visualize that in front of you, your attached spirits and karmic creditors, and behind you, friends and teachers and those who help you, and to the right from the father's side and to the left from the mother's side, and all sentient beings around us together practicing the Tantric Dharma and attaining Buddhahood. That's the same too. So all of your karmic creditors, all of the teachers, friends, and then ancestors and relatives from the father's side and the mother's side, and all sentient beings together attaining Buddhahood. You don't have to specify earth god, house spirits, money gods, kitchen god, ancestors, attached spirits. You don't have to say it in details like that. Okay. The second question. How do I teach my children to be kind, compassionate, joyous, and equanimous? Kind is to give people happiness. Compassion is to resolve other people's suffering. Joy, and we want to do them all with joy. And equanimity is being able to forsake your own life for it. This equanimity is very important. That self does not exist, only others. You never think for yourself, you always think of others. That's equanimity. So, when you teach your children to be kind, compassionate, joyous, and equanimous, you want to teach your children to give other people's happiness, not to create suffering. And compassion is to resolve other people's suffering. And joy is to do your best with joy. And equanimity or renouncement is to relinquish yourself for others. So this kind, loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity is extremely magnanimous. It's great. It's the way to cultivate spiritually. You can teach this to your children. That's a truly tremendous practice. A lady's beauty, the true beauty, is whether she is kind, compassionate, joyous, and equanimous. If you see a woman to be so beautiful, stunningly gorgeous, oh, amazing,
so powerful,
very dazzling and gorgeous, that all men would fall under your skirt. They would fall in love with you. And this kind of beauty is quite horrifying. Really horrifying. But her grace is a different matter. She doesn't look, she just looks so, but her posture, her grace is different. That would absorb you, attract you. Because when you have such a good qualities, that kind of radiance and brightness would exceed the physical look. And some elderlies have such compassionate look that they would draw you in. They're not beautiful, but they're very compassionate. But when a woman can be very kind and compassionate, that means they have very good qualities, and their grace and temperament is incredible. They have their power, two different kinds of power. So strictly speaking, if you know to master, to be kind, compassionate, joyous, and equanimous, then even if you look ugly, but the radiance, the brightness, the qualities, the grace and temperament that you would exude can be seen by spiritual cultivators. Their qi, their energy is extremely wonderful. But nice physical beauty would exude a very impure qi, impure energy. But if you have a good qi, that your wavelength, you have a certain magnetism that would attract people. And some people may look dazzling, but after being together for a few days, you would feel they're very nasty and dirty and impure. So the key is, if it's very important to teach your children to be kind, compassionate, joyous, and equanimous. The third question: I have completed 300,000 recitations of Ragaraja mantra. If I want to perform the ritual to cut off evil, should I wait until the elimination day? But elimination day is only every 15 days. If it is urgent, can I do it right away? Thank you, Grandmaster, for your advice. Wish Grandmaster and Sumo good health and having everything. So the meaning of elimination day is that when you practice on that day, that your power would be greater. So why we want to practice or perform the ritual of elimination on elimination day? Because it would enhance your power. But if you're urgent, then you can do the practice or the ritual any day. It doesn't have to be on the elimination day. You don't have to check on the farmers' calendars or lunar calendar. In Hong Kong, you cannot use the verb su in Chinese, which means losing, because Hong Kong people love to gamble. So they don't want to say something that sounds like losing. I'm a Taiwanese, but I don't gamble. I don't like to gamble. It's no good to gamble. So we call it the lunar calendar or farmer's calendar. In Chinese, sounds like a winning. In Hong Kong, they changed it into winning book, or farmers winning instead of farmers losing, because it sounds like losing. Actually, it's book or calendar. The Hong Kongese don't like to see monks or nuns, because they would think that you lose your hair, which means you lose everything. So they hate seeing the shaven-head monks or nuns What bad lucks today, seeing a monk or a nun in Hong Kong. But in Taiwan, they don't have this custom. And the Venerable Guo Xian one time got off the elevator and someone saw him and said, "Oh no, your head is bald, which means I will lose everything." But the Venerable Guo Xian argued and said, "No, I'm the field of fortunes. So it's okay. It's better to practice it on the illumination day, but it's okay if you practice it on any other day, as long as you have confidence and faith in it. Or if you have power through your spiritual cultivation, then you can do it any day." That's the key point. To perform the ritual to cut off evil, then you would have great power on Illumination Day. But if you have enough power from your spiritual cultivation or from your mantra, you can do it anytime, any day. It'll be fine. Go ahead. So 2020, it's already September. September is almost gone. Don't ask what I have got or what I have lost. My pride this year is 36.5 Celsius, which means you haven't gotten coronavirus or you haven't been infected with coronavirus. So now let's talk about the Lamdre. The verse, in quote, "the four kinds of great qi," end quote, are divided into two kinds of movements of 900 breaths each, for a total of 1800 breaths. Although it is referred as the 16 minor kinds, they do not exceed 8 types of qi. It is the 225 breaths of the earth qi, etc., in 8 groups, so a total of 1800 breaths. So this is talking about even spiritual experiences. 1800 breaths. It's divided into all these things. We shouldn't to worry about them. In some, so 225 breaths, 1800 breaths, which is 1800 inhalation and exhalation. And then it's divided from the 4 major kinds to the 16 minor kinds. So they're talking about spiritual experiences. When it is held evenly at the outer form of an A character, the qi, extremely moving qi, and the real moving qi of the branch qi are directed inward as the inner start of affinity, as in the verse, in quotes, "outwardly all kinds of fragrance, taste," end quote. This refers to the sensation of experiencing all kinds of worldly fragrances and taste. This only has the bodily sensation, but no spiritual experiences in the sightings nor dreams. So this is talking about the bodily sensation. The past, someone practiced the Xiang Gong, like the fragrance Kung Fu. This is it. It's actually also a qi practice, a breathing practice. The extremely moving qi, which means qi that moves very fast, and the real moving qi, which is the qi moved by the thought, like the 9-cycle Buddha breathing, is the real moving qi. And the fast-moving qi, strongly moving qi, treasure waste energy qi, holding the qi, that's called the fast-moving qi. So, treasure waste energy yoga, treasure waste energy or qi is the fast-moving qi. And the 9-cycle Buddha breathing is the real moving qi. Will generate two kinds of sensations. One is about fragrance. One is about taste, sweet taste. Your saliva is originally tasteless, but after long-term qi practice, the saliva that flows would be sweet, and your sweat would be sweet. Everything emitted by your skin pores would be fragrant. This is what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not. We are talking about race equality, however. Each race has its own smell. So they all have different smell. So if you're on a public bus and it's very crowded and there's a white man exuding his body odor and he's tall and your nose is just right there, not just for human beings, animals too. The black pig of Taiwan and the pink or white pig of America. The Taiwanese black pig is very fragrant. American peanuts and Taiwanese peanuts. Taiwanese peanuts are very tasty, but American peanuts are big but tasteless. If you have walked the spiritual cultivation path, your body odor would be fragrant, not odor. If you cultivate spiritually, your skin pores are open and they breathe, and what the skin pores exude is fragrant. The qi is clear and fragrant and sweet. So it's different. So if you practice breathing, then you would be able to experience all kinds of fragrances and taste. And it's not dreaming. So human body everybody has different face, and everybody's taste is different. Everybody's smell is different. Babies, newborn babies are very fragrant because they just drink milk, cow's milk or human milk. They're very fragrant. When they start eating meat, the smell is different. Don't think that only men are foul or filthy men, and you think that all women are fragrant? No. There are also many different kinds of women. There are some are truly fragrant. Some of them are foul, stinky. The same for women too. Some are very stinky, very smelly. Some smell good. Some because of their disposition. And some, after spiritual cultivation, you would be able to smell all kinds of fragrances and taste all kinds of taste. And that's the spiritual experience through the body. Single people would like to have a partner to live the ups and downs of lives. But after you found your partner, you would discover that the ups and downs, the storms of lives were created by your partner. As you age, you would become more and more smelly or stinky. But if the older you get, the more fragrant you are, that means you have cultivated spiritually. Look at the kids. You know, when an elderly people hug them, the kids would try to get away because you have stinky smell. I sing at home late at night, and when I sing in high pitch and the low key, the neighbor knocked at the door and he raised his thumb. Oh, did you sing that high key? And I said, oh no, that's really good. No, it was really horrible. Well, and then he slapped me and said, you know, it's horrible, but why did you continue to sing it? I think there's a joke like this, that someone is playing the trumpet late at night. And he told the stories. I was playing the trumpet last night, and my neighbor knocked at my door. Why did you knock at my door late at night? So I continued to play my trumpet. So he didn't even realize that it was his wrongdoing. So it shouldn't be like that. If you make noise for other people, that's no good. If you don't let people have peace and quiet, that's no good. There's a driver that's driving normally, and all of a sudden the policeman stopped him, and the taxi driver was very angry and shouting loudly in rage, "I didn't drink, I didn't violate anything. Why did you stop me?" And the policeman replied calmly, "Oh, I just want to get a ride." So he's stopping the taxi because he wanted to get the ride, nothing else. So that's why, for us, don't be so presumptuous. Don't jump to conclusion. You want to listen carefully before you act or say anything. No woman would choose between 6 packs and 6 cars. So there's no need to go to the gym, just go to work. Amy asked Xiaoming, "Do you know that man earlier?" And Xiaoming replied, "Well, I can say he's my relative." And Amy asked, "What kind of relative?" And Xiaoming replied, "Well, I don't know how to say it, but he married my wife." A couple started dating when they were in high school. And one day, the wife asked the husband, "Hey, in high school, how long have you had the crush on me before you wrote the first love letter?" And the husband replied, "Oh, I wanted to find a girlfriend, so I wrote a love letter to all the lady classmates, but only you replied." So he's teaching you. So if you're looking for a job, you should just send your letter to each kind of jobs, to all kinds of jobs. Then eventually, then you would find the job. So this is quite meaningful, about that the smell and taste of every individual is different. So practice the best you can so that you have the smell and taste of sweetness of Mani Padme Hum.